from the a little bit of late 90s to today.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that kind of like linkage. You know what I mean? Like outside of like personal friendships, like Tupac was cool with Mike Tyson.
Right.
You don't see like that thing where like a socially conscious fighter, let's say like a Deontay Wilder, pretty much associates with a Kendrick Lamar in that way where it's like a driving soundtrack to his thing right now as a heavyweight champion. You'll see 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather.
Right.
But even then, it's less about culture and more about salaciousness.
How about that?
You feel what I'm saying? Like it's more like TMZ level.
Right.
Hollywood level scandal components as opposed to like actual like 50 equates to Mayweather fighting style.
Right.
You don't see that, but like you could actually listen to James Brown and the tone you get feels like Muhammad Ali.
Right.
It feels like Rumble in the Jungle. Like you hear Fela, that sounds like George Foreman meeting Muhammad Ali in Zaire.
Yeah.
Like it's intrinsically linked.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like what baffled me because backing up, mid-2000s, 50 Cent, SMS.
Yes, promotions.
Gets with James Kirkland. And I was like, oh, that's perfect.
Right.
And then it doesn't work.
At all.
Right? At all.
No.
Like a year later, they're declaring bankruptcy and things of that nature.
It was all the way a wrap.
Right. I was like, if we were talking about that same kind of energy, the braggadocio, capturing a moment in time, I would have thought that would have worked. I was really rooting for them.
Right.
And then I was reading about some of the reasons behind it. It's just like, everybody has to be on one accord.
Yes.
And so back to what you're saying, the energy had to be the same, the trust had to be the same.
Right.
And I guess it wasn't.
At all. And to your point about these hip hop guys becoming boxing promoters or fight promoters, when you look at Jay-Z, clearly Rock Nation's doing great things, right? Managing folks, getting guys what kind of deals. I know they work with Kevin Durant and other big baseball guys. But when Jay-Z dipped his toe in the boxing water, okay, I went to the Rock Nation fights.
Right.
What I saw was an attempt to fuse hip-hop and boxing, but like it was very forced. So what they did was I went to the first fight they did with the guy from D.C., Dusty Harrison Hernandez. He fought like a guy that didn't really have a big name. But he was the main event in Madison Square Garden at the theater, and they had Fabulous perform like a halftime.
Right.
He wore the Frank Lucas big fur hat from like the notorious Ali fight and this big chinchilla coat. But it was like
costuming.
Yeah.
And it wasn't authentic to the moment.
And on top of that, Jay-Z peppered the front row with like Rihanna and this one, that one. And that was cool to be around the room with these people.
Right.
But it just felt wrong. Like I don't know if that makes sense. It didn't feel authentic.